It's fine. I just redo it. Hey, Shalom. This is your brother Ywanathan. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High. Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. The title of today's lesson is Your Value Isn't Seen from a Human Point of View. All right, most people in this world, when they look at you, they equate your worth to things you've done in the world, your appearance, um, you know, what you can do for them. But spiritually, those who are in the know, we know that none of those things equate to a man's true value with the Most High. The only thing that gives us usefulness or value is our usefulness to the Lord. Now, when you're equipped with the fear of the Lord, which inspires you to apply His conduct to your life, your viewpoint on people changes, how you deal with people changes, um, in many different facets. Now, what we want to touch on today is we're going to go to 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, but we're going to read it in the NLT, and we're going to equate something that's said, because the resurrection is mentioned, okay? And if you believe in the resurrection, well, with that, you become a whole new person, because the things that can manipulate you before, they can't manipulate you now. Like most people here on this earth, under the threat of death, they're going to fold because they're going to cling to this life, to what they know here, the things they hold valuable here. But when you believe in the resurrection, man, you're not going to bend and budge to do things that the Lord deliberately is against just to save your own ass. Okay? So when you get in the spirit of, hey man, the only thing that can happen to me is something that the Lord okayed to happen. And even if I die standing stiffly for Him, I'll be back. That's the spirit of the brothers in the Maccabees. When you're in that spirit, you can't, be manipulated or controlled by our enemy. He's going to use, hey, you won't be able to function in society. You're going to take the CHIP. Hey, you won't be able to go into the stores and do. You won't be able to do this and do that, and he's going to use this life that people are so attached to manipulate them, because they desire, to want to flourish here on this side. They desire to please their flesh. But the elect, they desire the kingdom of heaven. And that isn't something that can be given to us by this carnal man. All right, so let's go to 2 Corinthians 5, and we'll just start at we'll start at 14. It says, and this is in the NLT. It says, either way, the Mashiach's love controls us. We're guided by what our husband wants, right? Jeremiah 3 talks about how we're married into the Lord. So a wife's role, all right, is to forward the will of her husband. So we're manipulated or we're controlled by what our husband wants. Either way, the Mashiach's love controls us. Since we believe the Mashiach died for all of Israel, we also believe that we have all died to our old life, right? You put off the old man and put on the new. Verse 15, He died for everyone, all of Israel, so that those who receive His new life will no longer live for themselves. You're about something bigger than yourself. And that's something that a lot of people, when they come into this walk, that they struggle with. They don't even know what that looks like. They have no reference to it. They grew up without their father in the home. They don't know what it means to be about something that's bigger than you. If it's not self-serving them, then they look at it as a bad thing. Or they feel like, oh, I'm just being used. Well, duh, that's our whole purpose, is to be used. You don't want to be useless. Now, let's read this one more time. Verse 15, He died for everyone so that those who receive His new life will no longer live for themselves. Instead, they will live for the Mashiach, who died and was raised for them. It's only right to reciprocate the love that He showed us, and He showed us the greatest love. In John the 15th chapter, He says, what greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Okay? He did that. Now it's our turn to reciprocate it, and by every day applying the instruction that the Lord has given us and keeping the mission first. Verse 16, So we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. And this is basically the title of the lesson. Again, 16 from the top. So we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. Most people, when they see the prophets, they look at us as just some guys in the corner. Get a job. Da, 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 da. All these guys are bums. They just want to sit here and tell people they're doing wrong. That's all they see. They don't understand, oh, these are ambassadors of the master of the universe behalf. These men are an extension of God here on earth. They don't understand that, hey, well, that's a little deep for just the average person walking by. But these spirits that are out in the highways and byways, 144,000, those are the same spirits that were with the Lord before the earth was created. They helped create the earth. They helped create the spirits on the earth. So they walk by these people every day, not realizing the majesty that's on these men, the part that they play in the whole reality that they see is so far beyond what they could comprehend. They would never think that this person they just walked by helped create the earth itself. They just look at him like a normal guy. And it's supposed to be that way. The Lord made it that way on purpose. So Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, would take place. All right. Actually, let's go get that because that's the I told you so chapter. When you go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, it says this. Let's get it real quick. Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. It says, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness." This is happening now. "Before the face of such as has afflicted him." 100 years ago, you wouldn't see Jake. Well, let me take that back. Let's say 120 years ago, you wouldn't see Israelite men telling the so-called white man to his face that he's going into slavery, that he's wicked. You wouldn't see them telling the so-called JOO that he's not the real JOO. You wouldn't see these things in boldness. Now you do. This is now. "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as has afflicted them, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation." Because in the midst of the missiles coming down on Babylon the Great, this place being destroyed, Jacob's trouble, when the Lord has various things happen, and he lifts up that standard against these people so that his chosen ones can be protected, they're going to be like, there's no way this guy that I used to walk by every day, who I looked down upon, who I laughed at, you're telling me he's a part of that fold with the creator of the universe? How could this be? And the scriptures say this: "When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for. And they repenting." And now in verse 3, it goes into the inward thoughts of the people who are not going to be saved. It says, "And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, This was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach, this guy? We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God, and his lot among the saints? Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us." Now let's go back to 2 Corinthians 5:16 in the NLT here. It says, "So we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. At one time, we thought of the Mashiach merely from a human point of view. How differently we know him now." All right. Just think about it. People were actually walking amongst the first spirit ever created. Because when you go to the book of Genesis, and Elder Yashwama did a beautiful lesson on this, the scriptures talk about the Elohim, the powers. But who is at the head of those powers? All those spirits, the 144,000 that helped create it. Yahweh Shai. The scriptures tell you that all things were bestowed unto the Son. So Yahweh, right, the Ancient of Days, he created Yahweh Shai. After that, he didn't do anything else. Yahweh Shai did everything else. He created us. We were commissioned to help create the earth, all these different things. That same spirit was on the actual earth, walking among people. So you got to imagine, once, because Paul's writing this, he realized that, and he's like, oh shit. It was like, oh my goodness, like, Because at one point, before Paul came into the fold, as we all know, he was persecuting the church. He was killing those that believed in the Mashiach until Yahweh Shah knocked him off the horse. So people are going to realize, just like they were, back then, people got to see and be around Yahweh Shah. They're going to realize they got to be around the elect here on this side. Verse 16 again from the top. So we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. At one time, we thought of the Mashiach merely from a human point of view. How differently we know him now. This means that anyone who belongs to the Mashiach has become a new person. The old life is gone. A new life has begun. All right? A life where, they're not bound by the standard of the world. These mere human standards, this human point of view, this low level, flesh pleasing, flesh gratifying thought process. They're not bound to it anymore. They operate on a much higher level, especially those who are being doers of the word and not hearers only. All right, now let's go to 1 Corinthians 15 and 20. Okay, but now is the Mashiach risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, all right, through Adam, all right, falling off, death came into the world because we were made to be immortal. And then when he came back as the spirit of Solomon, all right, again he fell. But as the third time, when he came back as Yahweh Shah, he got it right. And one of the things that you'll notice when he came back as Yahweh Shah, he didn't deal with women. Because when he was Adam, Eve gave him that philosophy. She came to him with the bullshit. When he was in Solomon, he started building those temples to all his different wives, to their other gods, and displeased the Lord. So his third, he was there. He was also Melchizedek. We ain't gonna go that deep. But when he came as Yahweh Shah, right? He didn't deal with women. So that's why the scriptures say, "Those who have wives, be as though you had none." This truth becomes your woman. This is the main thing. All right. Now let's read this one more time. This is 1 Corinthians 15 and where was I at? 21. For since by man came death through Adam, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. The same spirit, he got it right. For as in Adam all die, even so in the Mashiach shall be made alive. So if you believe in the resurrection, man, nothing can touch you. Yeah, you might have to be put to death or cast in prison for that complete amount of time, all that. But if you're faithful unto death, you're going to receive that crown of life, man. Nothing you can't lose. So when you're around a brother, I'm speaking to myself as well. You don't look at brothers like they're just Now, I'm not saying you act funny or weird around them, but you got to understand, like, dude, I'm gonna treat this man as the way I would treat Yahweh Shah himself. That's how we're supposed to conduct ourselves with each other. Okay, and that's the beautiful thing about dwelling with brethren. I got one more. Let me see. All right, you're around men that are in the same spirit, like-minded, man. It's actual rest. This is where you get rest. When your outward man perish, your inward man is renewed day by day. Right? It's 2 Thessalonians 1, and I'll start at verse 7. I'll get straight to the point. It says, "And to you who are troubled, rest with us." All right, this is where you get rest, man. Rest with us when the Lord Yahweh Shah shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not God and that obey not the gospel of the Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach. So it's just a quick lesson, man. Abarat Tazah, you got something from it. I didn't really map it out or plan it like I wanted to, but Abarat Tazah, the point hit home. So with that being said, I'm going to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rakafadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth and sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom. I don't know why the button ain't ending. Hold on. Come on, phone.
Hey.
Salakia, guys. Still, oh, man. Cancel. Why is it not ending?